why do you feel is it that faith and mental health coexist together? And why the world says that it doesn't? Sorry, go ahead,
I was
Love.
just gonna say, I think for me, you have to have something that grounds you, and so I feel like faith is what should be that motive.
Okay.
Similar, but also firm believer in the whole mind, body, spirit. So I feel like there's a direct correlation.
Because the battle is in my mind. And I think that there's so many scriptures that talk about our mind. And I think the reason why the world can't accept it because they have to deal with a God that's gonna hold them accountable as well as the option to be free, because being free comes with responsibility. Especially, you know what I'm saying? So I think that is all tied into that.
First of all, yes, girl. But I think that we're in a time where we're pushing like the power of self, which is not bad. But then it's like if I can do it by myself, I don't need God. Like there's really a big separation of like dependency on ourselves.
Right.
I think that maybe why we don't think that faith and mental health can coexist is I think a lot of times us Christian people or some Christian people say like, oh I don't need that because like God got it. And I think God also requires action as well. So that's why they go together because they have to like put forth action.
Right.
So
Right. That's beautiful. Yes. I love, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
I think it's hard for people to wrap around like two things can be true when it comes to this. A lot of people want to be like, either you're needing a mental health provider because you don't have faith. But it's like, no, I have faith, and I do believe that God He's put these people here because they know what they're doing and they can assist me in this other area. So I think it's hard for people to just really be like, I need one or the other, not that I can have both.
Right.
So I think that's the struggle that people really see.
I love that. I love all the answers. Now I'm going to ask you guys one more question. How many of you guys have struggled in the workplace to bring faith there due to the environment or just the world saying, follow this, book only?
Yes.
So I want us to engage with that. Like, tell me, how does that suppress your mental health? How does that make you feel anxious?
I was just having a conversation with my pastor. He just asked me, do you feel that if you could really speak more freely that you would not be as anxious? And I was telling about my experience in the private practice. When the clients talk and like, we're talking about issues, I'm like, man, like this is deep rooted. If I could just really point out the fruit that we're talking about, then we could like do some uprooting work, right? But it's like, everybody's not on that level, it's not what you're doing. But it's like, I see the deeper thing. And that's always gonna always be spiritual for me.
Right. So it's like it silences the gift, the voice that God gave you, right? To actually speak to people and bring that light into them, right?
I feel also because we already got so much against us.
Yes.
I'm a woman, I'm black, and now I'm trying to talk about God. And so I think that it's like, okay, like this is gonna be another thing that they pin on me. And then and then just I feel like if we don't talk about it, we feel like we're doing God wrong. And we're choosing maybe the world and the world way, but it's like with God, I mean, it's such a struggle because we already deal with a struggle within ourselves and all the other intersectional identities that we have.
Right. I agree with that as well.
For me, I'm in private practice now, but the struggle talks
Oh, girl, you can do it.
The struggle for me, and as I see it for many of my clients, is that even in the title of your presentation, faith and mental health, there is a basic assumption that everybody has a Christian-based mind, either by currency or by history. And so when people show up and they get rooted by the church,
Yes.
questioning and you're not Christian, there are some intersections where there are some universal truths, like treat people the way you want to be treated, right? Don't harm other people. Take care of the earth.
Right, that part. Right.
Raise your children in the present moment, not the way you were raised.
Right.
And so I constantly look for an intersection or struggle to find an intersection where I can say, I am not concerned to who you pray. I am concerned that you pray.
Right. Exactly.
Right? And what that does to help you elevate mentally.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So I am a living testimony of faith and mental health coexist. So all of you guys basically gave us a definition of what faith is, right? You guys said like speaking up, being bold. You said being sacrificial in some ways, right? So when it comes to faith, I'll use myself as an example. So I moved here from Georgia all by myself. Almost 2 years ago, with only $700 something in my bank account. I sold everything because God told me to move here. So I moved by faith, right? But what I didn't know that the mental health was gonna follow it once I got here, right? So I want to hear some things from you guys when it comes to faith, when it comes to whether you're private practice, whether you being a black woman, whether it's going back and taking that test. I took that test 5 times and failed it 5 times. So I want to hear some of you guys' input on what does faith look like for you as a black woman, a social worker, or whatever you consider yourself to be.
I'd say for me, I worked in corporate America, and I have a private practice. But I've worked in corporate for the last 20 years, but private practice for maybe 2 years. When I'm doing an intake, and when I say corporate America, large dialysis, so when I was doing my intake, what I had to remember was my purpose first. And so when we're doing a biopsychosocial assessment, it doesn't what church do you go to, what religion are you, and so forth. So that has always been my end, so that I can weave my purpose into that. So when things are hard for those people, just like you Portia was saying, hey, I don't care who prays, you can do you pray. And what I've learned over the years is that the word is the word, I don't care where it come from, we can kind of weave it in there. So making sure that my faith shows up no matter what your religion is, what you're going through. And then being prayerful that if they don't want to receive the word like I received the word, that I present it in a way that is based on my professional expertise as well. So I can make the scripture fit, the therapeutic modality that I want to use.
Yes, absolutely. And I think one of the scriptures that I always live by is always work as you're working for the Lord and not for people. Because when we start working for people, that's when anxiety comes in, that's when depression, people pleasing, and all of that stuff comes in. But when you're actually working for God, you're able to walk boldly into a room and still lift your head up high no matter what they say to you, no matter how they make you feel. Because as this woman over here said, you're walking in your purpose. Would anybody else like to share?
So I kind of want to share, because from the angle where I work in a children's hospital. And so we're seeing a lot of kids that come in there with behavioral issues, or a lot of kids in the LGBTQ community. And so what shows up for me as a social worker, a lot of people are like, oh, you're liberal, you're supposed to understand these kids, like, and what they're doing. And so it shows up for me because I have Christian friends who are like, well, how can you stand by what they're doing when you know what the book says? And I'm like, because I'm a social worker and I know what the book says. That's not my job to put that pressure on that kid what they're going through in that sense. So I'm showing up and walking by faith and in my purpose, but I don't feel like my faith I don't have to feed my faith into somebody.
Right.
That's not what they're there for. That's my mental health side. Like, God is in me, and I'm hoping that they can see my light.
Right.
My light.
Right.
But I don't necessarily have to speak and be like, oh, you need to pray, or you need to have faith in this, in whatever arena that you're wanting to have faith in. Like, so that's where I feel like my tug and my struggle is. Like, I am a social because my purpose is to serve.
Exactly, because that's when religion comes in. We start to like nitpick at everything and put a lot of pressure on people instead of just allowing people to have their own encounters with God and just walking next to them so that they can be able to feel seen and not pressured. I think I saw.
To add to what she said, something I started doing to kind of put myself in the clear because I work in the school system and y'all know that's I would say to them, especially if there's like I think some of the seen there's like an open door that's like talk about faith. I will say, do I have your consent to share something with you? And say yes, and I'm like, so I'm not pressuring you. This is just an option. Like we talk about different coping skills. And I'm like, okay, and then that's typically where I put my in at because that same pressure of like, well, we know we can't do this, we know we can't do that, but I'm not there for that. I'm just there to play the scene. I'm like, well, God, you see me playing, right? Just to try, but I just ask for consent to do that.
Yeah.
And I will say that I am in private practice too, but one of the things when I wrote my profile, I didn't put that I'm a Christian counselor. I said I'm a Christian who does counseling. So it's me honoring me. And so even with that, I get all sorts of people with different faiths. But it's like, I'm gonna stay true to myself, however, I don't limit myself.
Exactly, you're not supposed to.
Right.
And I think that's why, you know, like we're talking, we should talk more about faith because everybody has an option to believe what they want to believe.
Right.
Just like Miss Hoskins said, she said, do you pray? I don't care who's praying, but do you pray? So you just meet people where they are because everybody is not going to believe what you believe. And I feel as if that's why the world is so torn apart because we want what we want. We're living in times where it's all about self. So common cause of faith and mental health. So one thing that I said is lack of trust can cause anxiety. Like I said, I moved here by faith, right? So I worked at an agency. I was the only black female there. It was very interesting. And I could tell that it was a lot of things going on within the agency. They were laying people off. I had just started. All I needed was a lady to sign off on my notes, and I think we were all about to have a meeting to talk about that. And she went behind my back and told the manager, the program manager, that she did not want to sign off on my notes. So they fired me the same day. So imagine me just moving here, got a job, the most money I ever made, moving into the apartment the same week without a job. Without a job. So you can imagine my faith in mental health was, it was going to war, right? It was like, it was a lot of lack of confidence, like why am I going through this? Why did you even tell me to come here, right? So that's one example of lack of trust. So I stopped trusting in the social work system. Depression, letting go of the past. So the mindset, right? You said the battle of the mind. So I always like to say my mind is like a battlefield. That's where the enemy attacks me the most about my self-worth. Am I good enough to walk in here? Like, are they gonna fire me? So imagine me getting another job and I'm walking in there with my people, with my black people, but then I'm like, I'm shrinking because I'm not believing in myself because of the experience that I've experienced when I first moved here. Not good enough. We don't want your kind in our office. We gotta let you go. So teeter-totter. I didn't pass my test. You let me go again. So it's constant struggling with faith. God, why did you bring me here? If all these people were just gonna keep shutting the door in my face. So imagine my mental health, the depression. I ain't got no money to go see a therapist. So what I'm gonna do? I gotta self-cope. Self-coping can come towards drinking alcohol or just staying to yourself, isolating because you feel like you're a burden and nobody can actually be there for you, right? So that can also cause some faith and mental health collisions. Stillness to heal. We was just talking about this just not too long ago, right? One thing that God is teaching me in this season is be still. Battlefield of the mind. I just said my mind be running like crazy. The enemy attacks me so much in my mind. Be still. How can I be still with all this stuff going on in my head? Still ain't working. God, how am I pay this? God, I'm tired. I'm tired of applying. I'm tired of pushing doors open and getting the door shut in my face. What are we doing? But you still gotta be still. That's the faith, right? Are you gonna trust me through the hard times? Have I let you down? You still got a roof over your head. I opened a door for you to get food stamps. Now you got food stamps. Yeah, I made provision towards your family. Your family is helping you financially. So what is it that you need that I'm not providing? Do you not have faith? Right? Do you not have faith? Right? So, but the mental health part is still there, right? Okay, God, I'm walking with you. I'm walking. But at the same time, God, I feel less than because I don't have a job. I'm 33 years old, God. I should be further along by now. God, I ain't got no kids, but I'm struggling like this. Everybody getting married, everybody has babies. What am I doing? Besides sitting on this couch, looking at the TV like, when is gonna be my turn? What's my turn gonna be to be able to provide for myself, right? Codependency. In the season of wilderness, we all know what the wilderness feels like, right? You want people to pour into you because you're struggling with pouring into yourself. How can you pull yourself up without bleeding on other people and being codependent? How can you do that when you're struggling with faith and mental health? You have people tell you, oh no, I'm not emotionally available for you. So I can't, that's too much. But God, you told me to move here. So how can my faith stretch and also deal with mental health, right? So those are some examples that I have for this one. What did anybody want to share? Nobody? Dang, I shook y'all that bad. Okay, well, I basically told y'all the frustration about faith and mental health. I gave you guys a little bit of my testimony. So I moved from Atlanta, Georgia, the Black Mecca where everybody's dreams come true. Right? I was popping out there in Atlanta. Okay, I had 3 jobs, not just 1, 2, I had 3. And I was enjoying my life. But you know, God, he likes to come in and interrupt your flow. And he came down, he was like, I need you to move. Where you want me to move? This is where my family lives. I'm comfortable. I'm making my money, you know, driving my car. Good. Now I need you to move. So moved, stayed in an Airbnb with a whole bunch of girls. Y'all don't do that. Don't do that, okay? It was fun. I was saved. My family thought I was crazy, but I was saved. But it taught me a lot. It taught me how to just allow people in and to be in community, right? Which us as women, we struggle with. We be like, oh, I don't want to tell her my business. I don't want to be around because she's going to run my, you know. But you don't have to tell everybody everything, you know, just people that you trust, right? So I moved into Airbnb with all the girls, and I slept on a futon in the middle of the loft area. And I stayed there for 6 months, stacked my money up. Then I got my apartment. Then I had shared with you guys that I lost my job. I Uber Eats for 7 months. That's how I paid my rent. That's how I bought food. I had no help. I could have asked for help, but the strong Black woman in me was like, I'm that girl. I had 3 jobs. I can do this. But I strained myself so thin to the point where I had no choice but to break down. But when I finally broke down, that's when I got a job. Started working there for, I think I was only there for 6 months. That organization, that person, she was not paying us on time. I think she was stealing money. And she was paying us in increments. So I had a lot of anxiety there because I was getting nitpicked on every little thing. How many people in here have had a job where every time you check an email, it's something. It's something. It's like, dang, like, okay, I'm asking you how you want me to do it. You tell me to do it this way, I do it your way. You still got a problem. What's up? Now I want to fight because you get on my nerves. Or whatever the case may be. So dealing with that, Ended up finding out that the CEO of the company was trying to put my name into illegal stuff. So I had to quit. So since then, I have not had a job. I have been Uber Eatsing still, but God has provided a lot of provision, and I am covered and I am taken care of. So I am here as a living testimony to you guys to let you guys know that faith and mental health can coexist. But you have to trust and you have to keep striving and you have to lean on people that you trust. Not people that only wanna pull on you when they need something, and when you need something, they gone. We don't do that. I remember my pastor in Atlanta. He said, like, it's like transactions. Think about your bank account. Anytime you do work, you get a deposit, and then when you go somewhere and spend something on yourself, you swipe and you withdraw. That's how relationships should be: depositing into each other and withdrawing from each other. But if my account is always negative, then you don't need to be around me. Because why are you draining my bank account? Why are you not pouring into me? Right? So that is my testimony about that. So some of the behaviors that came with that was isolation, fear, depressed, suicidal thoughts, feeling as if that you're not enough, negative thinking, and exploding on people because you feel so crushed. Like, you know, like how they crush like trash cans or like a beer can or whatever. It's just like you feel like you're being crushed constantly. But we all know that God says when the pruning process, it brings out big light, right? So those are examples. Does anybody want to share anything? Go ahead.
So, kind of like what you're explaining, I've been there before, and I think for me, it was God teaching me humility. Because He had to teach me to lean on Him, because I have a problem sometimes. My pride, I step out and I get big headed, and it's me. I did this, girl, boom, boom. And I have been in a place where He put me in a holding place, and it's like how you saying, like, you go here, this not working, this not working. But when I learned to depend on Him, and when I even get in those situations and turn it back to Him and realize that everything that I do is because of you, and He made a way, and it's not me, and I'm only a part of His plan of what He wants me to do. And I think once I learned that lesson, I was able to be able to go into different places and with a whole nother meaning and understanding, because now I'm walking in what His purpose was versus what I want to do or what I expect. And so for me, that was humility was like a crack.
That's a big thing for you.
I had to be taught that the hard way.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that, and I can definitely relate to that because I feel as if that I'm dealing with the same thing. I can definitely say that I'm dependent on Him. And like, you want to provide? How does that look, God? What is this gonna cost me? Type of thing, right? So I definitely get that. Thank you for sharing. I see two hands. Who wanna go first? Look, how feels like me?
I mean, I just, because I talk all day for a living, I can yield the floor. So I guess this is for you, but it's also for the village. What I find is when we have these moments of doubt or insecurity, or like sometimes the devil ain't riding you, life is just like that, right? It is what it is. And you say God told you to move here, right? I work with people who have personality. So it is a fine line to walk and to have a conversation where I can say, okay, but how do you know, right, as a professional and as a person, whether you tripping or God is really talking to you, and how do you articulate that?
You asking me that question?
I'm
Oh, you asked that relation. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's a really good question because I was thinking that too. I have people ask me that all the time. Anytime I share a testimony, they're like, well, how do you know that's God? Or how do you know that this is this? Let me tell you something. I know it's God because it's peace. I know it's God because provision is happening. I know it's God because the world will tell me one thing, but God will bring people to me that is going to pour into me. It may not look the way that I want it to look, like my season right now that I'm sharing with y'all, it don't look the way I want it to look. But I'm standing here. I'm still here right now. For the ones that maybe be hearing a whole bunch of stuff, it's dark. It's not of God. So if somebody is saying, well, God told me to shoot so and so, God didn't tell you to shoot them. That's a mental thing, right? Or whatever. But God, when God speaks, He speaks in peace and He speaks in light. He does not condemn you. He does not make you feel like you're not worthy or something. But the enemy or you know what you would do. You know what you would say and how you would treat somebody if you were upset or if you want to be impulsive, right? But when it's God, it's very peaceful. It's just a peace that surpasses all understanding, and it don't matter what nobody was to say to you. You just keep on walking.
And so follow up. I mean, because this is like real life session stuff.
Yeah.
So the question is asked, you give that response. The next thing the person says is, well, how do I know? Right? How do I know?
Oh, get in your prayer closet, sit.
Yeah.
What if, and what if you give the answer you gave and they are traumatized by that?
Listen, I was traumatized by it, so I get it. That's a good question. I don't know if I can answer that, Miss Hoskins. I don't know if I can answer that, but what I can say is that sometimes we have to be still in order to understand. Like I think someone told me, because I did have a season where every voice I was hearing wasn't God. It was my fear. So I want to run. Let me go back home. Nothing's working here. Haha. So I can't go nowhere. I gotta be still.
I split that. I'm just saying this how I do it. Right? God will help somebody because it helped me. Because I'm asking you because I had all the same questions.
Wow.
And what I say to people is, your ego will speak to you. And it can never be satisfied.
Never.
Ascension will speak to you. God will speak to you. And here is how you do it. If it is your ego, it comes with guilt and shame and judgment and contradiction.
Right.
If it is God, and if it is an ascension clock that is trying to get you to the very next step, it comes with compassion. It comes with grace. And it comes with love.
I love that. That's beautiful.
And I leave it right there.
Leave it right there and let them choose. I think you had to have it.
Yeah, one of the things that I was gonna say, that I talk a lot about just the collision between professional experience and being a Christian, identifying as a Christian as well. With clients that I've seen, professionally, using the positive affirmation. And if they have already told you that they're Christians too and stuff, well, what does the Bible say about seasons like this? It says in all ways, in all situations, you be content. And then when your mind is getting a little bit clogged there and stuff, is, okay, so now is the time for us to thank Him for trusting in Him with these situations. That if He brought it to you, your shoulders are strong enough to handle it. But the oppression is still gonna be there. It's still gonna be there. So one of the exercises that I do with clients is, and it may be, this is just lesson number one, that next week we'll have some more homework. Because we're trying to get through a season of depression. And the Lord has sent you someone in this season to help you with depression that's going to, it's not gonna last. It doesn't last always.
Never.
Then the exercise that we're gonna do, get you a piece of paper, divide it in half. So for this week, I want you to write all of the blessings on one side.
I love that.
All of the blessings on one side. And then on the other side, you can write, what's going on with you now. 9 times out of 10, that during that next session, those blessings have outweighed the situation now. So now you have something to draw from.
Yes.
Because when you're alone and when you're isolated, the devil will come with you. You not moved here and now you don't have a job.
Yep. He
But
will.
baby, when I had this baby, I went to PB.
Right.
You sent Elizabeth Norton to me, G.
Right.
Stevens, they showed me this.
That's right.
And I had a house, a car, and all this before I was 30 and stuff, so, look, you gonna pay this mortgage.
Amen.
All the
Okay.
stuff that you said in the red,
Yes.
that's what I'm going to ask you to do.
Right,
I'm
right.
gonna demand you to do it, because that's what you said you're going to do.
Right, exactly. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
I don't know what we were talking about, but this thing that, your original question was, we were talking about like when you're in that season of like, I thought I was doing the right thing, but then trying to differentiate between like, okay, what's Elisha and what's the Lord, like, because when I'm trying to figure, and I'll just be very transparent, this season of my life has been like very humbling. This is the brokest I've ever been. I've never been, I couldn't get no more broke if I was broke, okay? And like financially speaking, and it's made me be, so taking away from the keynote, it's made me be dependable upon people around me. So I've had to go to my husband like, can't save us. So can you do it? You know what I mean? Like, which I had to take a look at that. Like, I operate like a single woman because I was a single mother before I got married. And I was like, I need to use your husband to help you. I didn't know they did that. Like, I never been opportunity.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I came into the marriage, I'm still running things, and I had to
Yeah.
go to my mom and my brother and going to my siblings, and I'm the oldest. I'm like, no. Like, I had to, like it was all I. And so this past summer, y'all have been so humbling. Even being here, family member, I had to be like, I need an Uber, I need to eat, but like, when I did finally surrender and be like, listen, this is how I messed up. Let me take accountability. The devil did not attack me. I suffered with managing my finances. That's what happened. I was impulsive because I was trying to put something else. When I finally admitted that and was able to differentiate between what God told me to do and what ego was telling me to do so I can feel better and have a new purse.
Yeah.
That's when doors started opening. You know what I mean? That's when the provision came. It wasn't until I take that step back. But like you said, it's hard in those when you're feeling depressed because your bank account doesn't match your profession. You know what I mean? Like being even leading up to this, I thought about not coming. I'm like, man, it's about to be some fire black women up in here. My bank account is like on life support. And it was really intimidating, but I'm just so grateful that being able to lean into my faith and be like, God, I know you opened the door for me to be able to go.
Right.
And to walk through, it was really refreshing and for me to do that.
Well, thank you for sharing. You should be proud of yourself.
Oh, thank you.
All the way in the back. I see you, girl.
So I'll just say, like, initially when I was coming here, I've had conversations with a church about supporting them with developing mental health support. So that's why I was coming here. But as I'm sitting here, I'm recognizing that I'm having things of myself. In my full-time work, I was experiencing discrimination and harassment to the point to where I took a leave, and I was actually thinking about leaving. But the CEO found out, called me and said, no, you're coming back, and essentially put me in that person's position.
Wow. Come on.
I'm interim. I'm interim, and I am, so in that whole process, I literally was trusting and believing God, like either I am going to go back, confront it, and I'm gonna deal with it, or I'm gonna work on my own things, because I do have a private practice and whatnot, so I'm setting things up of whatever you want me to do, I'm trusting in that. These things happen, and they told me that I would get the full-term position. Haven't heard back, had an interview, and I think I'm struggling with some of you have talked about whether or not it's my ego now, because I could be like, yeah, bitch, excuse my language. Like, you tried to take me out and now I'm taking your place.
Right.
But also I'm hearing too that I would be the best person for this position as well, because I've been here for almost 2 years now. And now I'm like, but is this what God wants you to do? And is this the space that you should be in? Like, yeah, I love what I do, I love my job. But now I'm realizing maybe the reason why I'm not hearing back and wrestling back and forth with myself is because I don't know if that's really what God wanted for me. So I appreciate you having these conversations. Not that I'm gonna get the answer from any of you right now,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I'm grateful that it's coming up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's what this space is for, and that's what God has missioned me to do since I moved here. So it's not about me being behind four walls and talking to people that are actually needing the help. It's about me standing here at two professionals and talking to you guys, because y'all need help too, right? As well as me. So I'm happy that unlocked something for you. Thank you for sharing that. And I thought I saw one more hand over here. I ain't seen no more hand. Okay.
And something else I think I like learning from like walking with God too is that once you find like you're in your right space, like when it's hymns, you don't even have to try. Like I don't like had positions like, and I just be moving up and doing it. I be like, I didn't even think that much of myself. Like I didn't think, that I could even do this or I could do that. But it's like I'm not even trying, and it's just working, and it's just going. And like when my pastor had to teach me, like that's when you know you where God wants you to be. Cause with God, it's not hard. It's not a tussle. It's not a battle. It's not none of that. When you where you're supposed to be, it's just gonna flow.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Look at y'all opening up. Okay, the next slide is the impact of losing faith. I mean, you guys basically gave heck of examples of what it looks like losing faith, right, and struggling with the mental health. So I had a question because it popped up in my head. So all of my therapists that are in here that have private practices, I want to ask y'all a question. When y'all get a client that is struggling in seasons with their whether they have faith, mental health, or whatever they believe in, like Ms. Hoskins said, I don't care who you pray to, who you pray. How do you guys help your clients through seasons when they can't even see the light?
So I guess it depends, like she was saying, like if they are Christian and they allow it, I would love to go to the book of Psalms. Because I think the thing that, this is what I was thinking is who said mental health and having issues are necessarily bad?
That's what
I
I was
think
looking for.
when I look at different people in the, actually all, be honest, they all have mental health issues. And so I think what God has to say to me, like, how you gonna know me in the fellowship of my resurrection if you're not willing to know me in my fellowship of suffering? And so for me, with clients, I said this season is needed. So let's go through it well. And so there's nothing done in vain. And so I do like to go back, because Faith is bipolar. Let's be honest. I said he was bipolar. He was all over the place. And so to me, but then for my non-Christian people, I still say that, but I may not make the biblical reference. There's a season of everything, and especially for whatever you are meant to be or to do, you're building your capacity. Because a lot of people want a lot of stuff, but they do not have the capacity. So I think it's like to first let's deal with that shame. And for me, being transparent as a therapist, that I too deal with those things. I think that's what allows for us to feel our clients the way we do. And I'm going through, like everybody else, going through a season, and I had to admit that I was dealing with pride because I was the Christian girl, I was this and everything like that. And then to come out and have to be honest about some things, there was fear there, but then you said something, that peace, that freedom that comes, you're like, okay. And so I think it's just having to give space. I do a lot of praying and not, coming in so hard with my expertise, because God has just blessed us to be on the journey. It's really Him, and I think that helps my ego. You know what I'm saying? And it also helps the trauma of me to be a fixer. So to me, I just am like, okay, let's see how this goes. And so I may have a plan, it may not go like that. And so really